everybody. How's everyone doing? So another episode of Deck Musings. It's a very snowy day here today in Nova Scotia. So I've just come in from shoveling and looking forward to chilling out for a while. A nice couple of drinks here. Nothing alcoholic, of course. We'll go through. So we're in terms of the standard meta timeline that we're following for this series. We're up to here. This period was sort of split into two because of these bannings. So what happened was on February the 20th. So if you remember, I think stuff rotates in. Is it around the 20th now of a particular month? Whenever it's due to rotate in. And so we have Betrayers coming in, so the second set of the Kamigawa block. So obviously makes standard a little bit larger, but it became apparent, as if it wasn't apparent already, that they needed to do something about affinity. So according to the dates here, around about March the 20th, so February the 20th, so a month in, they decide to make 8 bannings, which consists of the 6 artifact lands, if you include Darksteel Citadel, and also Disciple of the Vault, and Arcbound Ravager. They're all banned from standard, I think. Well, at the time, I'm not sure what other formats they were banned from and still are banned from, but as we go in, well, we'll see, won't we, when we poke around, if we happen to stumble across this. Now, it doesn't affect this particular tournament that the deck's from, because, as many of you that watch these will know, we're at that period, one of my favourite periods in the meta, where we're not doing standard. We're actually, a tournament I feature will be block constructed, and it's the first 2 sets. And I particularly like block constructed, and I particularly enjoy actually the first 2 sets. And for 3 sets, the whole block's good, but there's something about the large set with the first small set that, I don't know what it is, but I do enjoy those. So that's what we're going to be featuring today. Consequently, it's all Kamigawa stuff. So we're not, even though the tournament we're looking at is in here, I'm jumping ahead of myself here, is here, and it's in May, and we'll see what it was in a moment. It's not affected by these in terms of the card selection, because it is block constructed in these 2 sets. It's going to be interesting the coming weeks, because they shifted the World Championship round a little bit. So moved to later in the year. So what should happen is we will have an episode around this period when we've got Saviours coming in. And I should be able to find data about one of these nationals, hopefully somewhere where they were playing this sort of version of standard tournament play. And then we get a version of standard that's around for a short period of time, a couple of months, which has 9th edition in it instead of 8th edition. So again, hopefully I'll be able to find some cards from these tournaments that we can talk about, and we'll see how things go. But anyway, for the moment we're here, post banning, but not really affected for this particular format, because we're playing block constructed, and whatever the block was at that point, Champions and Betrayers from Kamigawa. So here's the top 8 at that time and the final standings. So what deck are we going to look at? Well, we're going to have a look at what did I decide in there? Let me quickly, I think this is, where's it gone? Oh yeah, it's a Gifts Ungiven deck. It's alright, I got confused because it's got a different name here, but subsequently I've seen it referred to as Gifts Ungiven because of the presence of this, and we'll have a look through. You can see it's a pretty busy deck. There's a lot going on, although quite a bit of the sideboard, as we'll see in a moment, is just increasing some of the cards that are already in here, and obviously you have to take out other stuff. Also interesting, they've got a forest in the sideboard as well. So we'll see in a moment what colours this features. You probably spotted it looks like it's a 4-colour deck. But let's break this down. We'll go through in the usual way. So we've got Sensei's Divining Top, which we've looked at in a previous episode. That was in a previous deck. You can see that obviously we're going to see a number of cards here from Champions of Kamigawa, and the last episode we looked at the Champions of Kamigawa theme deck. So yeah, so 4 Sensei's Divining Top, just like I said we've seen before, and we've got 1 Hana Kami, and these are in order of increasing casting cost. You can see we've got 10 creatures in the deck, so not that many, relatively speaking. 60 card deck. Yeah, 1 drop, 1/1, and you can sack it, return a target arcane card from your graveyard to your hand. Sakura-Tribe Elders in here. We looked at that I think in a previous week. 1 and a green. It's 1/1. It's the one where you sack it, search your library for a basic land card, then put that card into play, tapped, then shuffle your library. Meloku, the Clouded Mirrors in here. 1 copy of that. 4 and a blue. So 2/4 has flying. And for 1 you can return a land you control to its owner's hand and put a 1/1 blue illusion creature token with flying into play. We've got 2 Ink Eyes, Servant of Honey. It's 4 and 2 black with 5/4 legendary creature, Rat Ninja with ninjutsu. 3 and 2 black. So for that you get to return an unblocked attacker you control to hand, put this card into play from your hand tapped and attacking. So some combat shenanigans there. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may put target creature card from that player's graveyard into play under your control. And 1 and a black, you can regenerate this. Kokusho, the Evening Star, 4 and 2 black, 5/5 with flying. And when it's put into graveyard from play, each opponent loses 5 life. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. So far, you can see most of these cards are from Champions of Kamigawa. This one's from Betrayers. We've got 15 instants in the deck. You'll notice this deck has quite a number of 1/0s in it as well. So we've got 1 Ethereal Haze. Again, this is laid out on a curve. So 1 drop there, and it's fog effect. Prevent all damage that will be dealt by creatures this turn. It's also an arcane spell. Another arcane spell here. This is in black. This is X and 2 black. So, because when these line up, strictly speaking, this would be higher up the curve because you're not going to have a 0 X invested here because stuff scales off of this. So it says you remove a black card with converted mana cost X in your hand from the game rather than pay Sickening Shoal's mana cost. Target creature gets -X until end of turn. Yeah, we don't have any 0 cost X, 0 cost black spells. That's also from Betrayers. Soulless Revival, 1 and a black, instant arcane. You can see, I think, most of these you can see are of the subtype arcane. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, and here comes the significance of playing arcane spells. You can splice into arcane for a certain cost. So 1 and a black, as you play an arcane spell, you may reveal this card from your hand and pay its splice cost. If you do, add this card's effect to that spell. We've got 1 Wear Away, 2 green, destroy target artifact or enchantment, splice into arcane for 3 and a green. Horobi's Whisper, and this is also from Betrayers. If you control a swamp, destroy target non-black creature and another splice into arcane. This one, the cost is removing 4 cards in your graveyard from the game. Then we have Gifts Ungiven. So we need to look at this carefully. This is a Gifts Ungiven deck, and see how this interacts, what its advantages, what its synergies are. So 3 in a blue. There's 4 of them, and it is from Champions. There's quite a number of cards here actually from Champions and not from Betrayers. So search your library for 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Okay. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards, put the chosen cards into your graveyard and the rest into your hand, then shuffle your library. So you got this really interesting 4-card tutoring with the opponent getting to choose which cards that end up in your graveyard, and then you keep the rest. They choose 2 and you then take the remaining 2, put them in your hand. 3 Hideous Laughters, 2 and 2 black. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. Another splice into arcane. 24 lands. So 9 forests, 1 island, 7 swamps, 1 plains. So very interesting. So I'm just scrolling back up so we can sort of see for the one-ofs here. So we have this 1 Ethereal Haze. We'll scroll down in a moment if there's any sorceries. What about blue cards? Well, there's our Gifts Ungiven, and there's our Meloku. So how else might we be helped here? So we've got another green land, a legendary land, which is Okina, Temple of the Grandfathers. So tap, add green to your mana pool, green tap, target legendary creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And then we've got Shizo, Death's Storehouse, one of those. It's a legendary land, and of course at that point the legend rules were slightly different, but obviously that's playing. That's important when you're deciding how many cards to include in the deck. Yeah, tap to add black to your mana pool. So these start producing mana straight away, but as with both of these, target legendary creature gains fear until end of turn, and this one was +1/+1. So we've got targeting legendary creatures. We've got 7 swamps in here, and then we've got this Tendo Ice Bridge. So it comes into play with a charge counter on it. Tap, add 1 to your mana pool, and tap, remove a charge counter from Tendo Ice Bridge, add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. So that's another way of getting blue mana or white mana, because they're the 2 lands where we don't have a lot of. So yeah, and I imagine that's a bit more of a problem with the blue cards, because there's 2. Well, hang on, now what am I saying? 5 in total. There's only 1 white card. So, and of course, one of those is a Gifts Ungiven. But that's 3 in a blue, and yeah. So it's going to turn up a little bit later in the game. So hopefully by then you would have maybe got an island out or something that can produce blue mana. So some sorceries. 1 Stir the Grave, another X spell. X and a black. Return target creature card with converted mana cost X or less from the graveyard into play. We've got Kodama's Reach for 2 and a green. And you can search for basic land cards. So of course anything in here that searches for basic land is going to help you get that blue mana out. So the Sakura and the Kodama's Reach. We've also got Cranial Extraction. So name a non-land card, search target player's graveyard, hand and library for all cards with that name and remove them from the game. Then that player shuffles his or her library. There's 2 of those. We get onto the sideboard. We've got an additional forest. We've got a Nezumi Graverobber in here. So this is one of these cards which rotates, I suppose. Doesn't flip. Well, it flips top to bottom, not front to back. So yeah. And one of the black, remove target card in an opponent's graveyard from the game. If no cards are in that graveyard, flip Nezumi Graverobber. So 2-1 at this point, and it goes into a 4-2 with 4 and a black. Put target creature card in a graveyard into play under your control. Cool. That's any graveyard. There's another copy of Wear Away in here. Is that did we already have a Horobi's Whisper? Yeah. So another couple of copies of Horobi's Whisper, another copy of Cranial Extraction. We've got Kodama of the North Tree, which isn't in the main deck. So 2 and 3 green, 6/4 with trample. Can't be the target spells or abilities. We've got another Ink Eyes here, because I think we had one up here, didn't we? Yeah. So another Ink Eyes. And we got a copy of Keiga the Tide Star, which isn't in the main deck. 5 and a blue, flying. And when it's put into a graveyard from play, gain control of a target creature. And then we've got Myojin of Night's Reach, 5 and 3 black, 5/2. Comes into play with a divinity counter on it. If you played it from your hand, it's indestructible as long as it has that divinity counter on it, and you can remove a divinity counter from it, and each opponent discards his or her hand. So it's interesting. We've got several legendary creatures in the sideboard in various forms, in addition to the ones we're running up here, and also the legendary lands here and here, and cards which reference like legendary status. I think we did have that come up. Yeah, well, that's legendary creatures that's referencing. Okay, so interesting deck. If you're curious, that's the curve. Yeah. But it was the winning deck. What else did we have? Something called a heartbeat deck. Bear in mind, these are going to be pretty, what's the word? Like niche decks at the time, because of course they're just made up of 2 sets. So that's the other reason why I find Block Constructed so fascinating, is you get these wonderful decks that you don't ever see except in Block Constructed. Some you might see in a different guise, like there might be, like I say, a red deck wins type deck that you just see in a different format, but the same principle in other Block Constructed or other standard. But other instances, just because of the way the cards are and the relative power of other cards, just these totally unique decks. Yeah, so it's a bit laggy, but you'll notice that the mana base in these decks is super interesting, isn't it? That's probably the simplest one, the best sealed deck ever. Yeah, we mostly seeing, what, 3 colours or more, maybe? Yeah, apart from this one, which is mono white by the look of things. Yeah, interesting. again, anybody playing from around that time, yeah, let me know in the comments section, what was your experience at that time of this particularly, you know, the impact of this block on standard, or just if you ever played any block constructed at that time. Okay, let's dive in. We get to look at a lot more land artwork here, basic land artwork, because we've got, you know, four of the 5 colours. Yeah, I love the artwork for this set, and again, who can't love the fact that they're doing, you know, 4 different pieces of artwork. So we've got forests, we've got islands. This is quite sort of Zendikar-ish, isn't it, with floating, you know, things that sort of defy gravity. Oh, nice plains. And swamps. No mountains though. So yeah, legendary lands. Okina. Probably mangled that the first time I'd said it, if I did in fact say it. Okina, Temple of the Grandfathers. Okay. Let's have a look. What have we got? Synergy with legendary. So yeah, that you wouldn't be surprised to know that there was a cycle of legendary lands from the first set of the Kamigawa block from Champions. So we'll have a look, just see what the first printings look like. So what the ones from the day, as you can see here, it's been some of them, I think, yeah. Oh, hang on, did that? There's one there. So one of them looks like it's been reprinted. Yeah, wasn't any change, was there, in the artwork? No. Unlikely, I suppose, if they just did one. Okay, so you can see these all target legendaries in some way. This one's damage prevention, untap, +1/+1, first strike, and gaining fear. So I'm just looking at these. Which ones are maybe advantageous to you targeting your legendaries, and which ones are good at targeting opponent stuff? Nothing really. They're all to your advantage, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Now there's Shizo, Death Storehouse. So yeah, part of the cycle. But I wanted to have a look at this. Synergies with legendaries. And specifically, oh, there we have looked at it before, because probably these earlier ones, yeah. So there's a number of cards where you see it. Obviously, no surprise that we've got quite a number in this block. So there's our champions, there's our betrayers, and then we have what's this? Dear me, it's gone. Saviors, that's it. Saviors. And then going forward, we've got various other ones appearing. There's quite a number here in Dominaria. Now, what I was curious about more than anything is lands themselves. And you can probably guess, and won't be surprised in that the first ones are from Legends, and then we've got these from the next legendary heavy block. What else have we got? Water Spark, Kaldheim, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, Neon Dynasty, yeah, because of course that was going back, wasn't it, to the plane of Kamigawa. Domineering United, Brothers War, Lord of the Rings, yeah. Okay, so it looks like we've got some cycles in Lord of the Rings, and no surprise we do have what cycles here. Yeah, Neon Destiny ones. They got channel on them. How much are these? Quick look. 738, 1313. Oh, that one's been reprinted a few times. 46. Oh, hang on. Yeah, $46. Wow. Was reprinted for Eternal Masters. 5 and 459. Makes a nice little set. It's a shame that this is slightly more expensive. Oh, it was in one of the Magic Online theme decks. Oh, there's Tendo Ice Bridge. So, similar to Ether Hub. Okay, so that plays around with energy counters. And similar to Gold Mine. So, if I was to do, say, I don't know, what do you reckon? Let's try this. I think I probably tried this in a previous episode. Yeah, so you can see we've got a number of cards that play around with charge counters and, you know, 1 mana of any colour. Of course, the Vivids do it, don't they? Yeah, that's right. But there's some, you can see there's some artefacts here. Although that's on there for a transform, I think. Yeah. Goes into a land, so choose it in a slightly different way. And we got Coalition Relic. Now, when was that actually printed? Because didn't Coalition Relic get printed in a one of the dual decks? And wasn't it at one point quite expensive? So it's originally in Future Sight. Let's have a look. Oh, $1. I must be misremembering then. Okay. So no, I'm thinking probably of another artifact then, with a similar name. Did I? Oh, hang on. Let's actually get these in the right order. That helps a little bit more. Okay, so that makes more sense. So there's Mirrodin's Core from Darkseal, because I'm thinking, well, this was printed after Tendo Ice Bridge. Then you've got the Vivids from Lorwyn. Oh yeah, I remember Sphere of the Suns. That's pretty interesting artwork. Vexing Puzzle Box. Okay. Hana Kami. Let's have a look. Yep, Synergy Arcane. So Martyr is creatures that sacrifice themselves for a benefit. And then, you know, regrowth effects that return cards from graveyard to your hand. There's quite a lot of those, and there's a namesake card. And then you've got synergy with Arcane. So you probably won't be surprised to see, if we look at this and do his first printing. One, it's something that certainly I've looked at before. But if we look, see whether we ever had any synergy with Arcane later. So of course it's all over this block. There was a theme. Look at it, yeah, everything. Yeah. So. Inkai Servant of Oni. It's been reprinted a few times. It was in the play. Oh, that's right, because there was wasn't there a ninjutsu plane chase deck? There wasn't there. So that was the second play chase iteration. I think the first one came out in 2010. Oh my word. Okay. What's it similar to? Sepulchral Primordial and Tyrell Reckoner of Souls. Okay, where do we even start? Evasion, reanimate from opponent, rescue creature. I'd love to look at sneak. Synergy attacker, reanimate creature. Yeah, let's look at these. Saboteur and sneak. So sneak puts a permanent from your hand onto the battlefield with or without a requirement to sacrifice it later. I'm just going to go back. Sneak self, yeah. Is it self? So you can see, yeah, there's a lot of ninjutsu. Look at this, but Saboteur affects the trigger when you deal combat damage to an opponent. Okay, so yeah, we've obviously looked at that before. Let's have a look at Sneak. Snake. Did I load up? Yep, I did. Okay, so first time we see it is in Academy Researchers. What did I do wrong here? That's better. Yep, my mistake. The first time we see it is in Eureka. Okay, I thought that was definitely wrong. I had it sorted wrong by name. Okay. Oh yes, didgeridoo. There's Academy Researchers. There's Show and Tell. Sneak Attack. Okay. Goblin Lackey. So we've got a few classics here. Yeah, Elvish Piper. Okay. Oh, yeah, Cauldron Dance. Yeah, I've got a deck, I think, with this in it. I think Cauldron Dance was in that Magic the Gathering Online EDH deck they made before the paper product. And I built that in paper, and I think that's the one with Cauldron Dance in it. If not, then it could possibly be in some other graveyard shenanigans deck that I have. Wow, this is interesting. So this was just Sneak. Oh, here we go, yep. So you can see we've got all the ninjutsu creatures. Mishra Braids, Conjure Adept. I'm trying to remember which is the version of Braids which is banned in Commander. Not that one, is it? No. So we'll have a look in a moment. Braids Tribal. Okay. Oh, one of the lieges has it on it. Yep, Stoneforge Mystic. Wow. Oh yeah, I reckon there's so many cards here. Awesome. So the other one that were there before we look at braids was Sneak Self. So I suppose for this, are we going to mainly see like ninjas and ninjutsu being part of the thing? So we've got Cheaty Face from, it's a couple from Unhinged. And then, yeah, here we go. Here's our ninjas. Oh, yeah. Okiba Gang Shinobi. This is probably the one I remember most, or best, from the set. That came from, yeah, Betrayers. So you can see it was a Betrayers thing. And I will include a link to the set musings I did for Betrayers. I'm trying to remember to do that a lot more often. That'll be in the description. Yeah, more ninja. Modern Horizons was a thing, and then obviously no surprise to see it in the Neon Dynasty set. There you go, quite a number. It's pretty cool. But obviously the regular Sneak, not the Sneak Self, we're seeing a lot more sort of classic cards that people, you know, will use to sneak all sorts of things into play. So I did say I would look, seeing as braids came up. I think braids was the first time I became aware of a card, a commander being, you know, banned. Just I don't know why. So it must be this one. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices an artifact, creature or land. Yep. There you go. No fun. Raids Arisen Nightmare. Ooh. Currently legal in Standard. And this one. Yep. Kokusho. Was in that From the Vaults Dragons as well. Yep, so a cycle of dragons from the set. You can see all of these have indeed been reprinted. I'm super enjoying this episode, in case you hadn't gathered already. This is excellent. Look at that artwork. Now with that, again, what's the prices on these? Champions. Ooh, yeah. Okay. The others though, yeah, nice little artwork collection though. I honestly can't remember because of course these are from Champions, so I would have done the flip through my binder, but yeah, you'll be shocked to know, or not. Yeah, I just can't remember from last week if I've actually got one of these, if I pulled one for a booster or not. Yeah, so obviously this week the episode of the artwork, Friday artwork video that goes with this episode is going to be Betrayers, and I'm really looking forward to that. Another Champions card here. Not part of a cycle. I didn't actually, maybe I sold you a bit short there. Let's just go back quickly and see if we've got anything. Yeah, no, I don't think. I think most of these sort of things we've looked at before in some guys. Drain life, opponent lose life, death triggers. Okay, so yeah, no. Rescue. Let's have a look. Bounce something you control. Okay, is that something I've... Yeah, we have then. Enchantments I was interested in at that point. So let's lay these out on on a release date. And just going back. So we're talking about on a creature here. So I'm just going to quickly scroll down. So do I see any... I suppose we are going to see some... We're going to see any colour bias here. Most of the mono stuff is not surprisingly mono blue. We're seeing some white here. Got a bit of black and red and that sort of thing. So this sort of spell, rescue, how does it manifest itself? So if we go through, what should we do first? Well, seeing as we're looking at creatures, so it looks like the vast majority are on a creature, and as it was defined here, what did it say? It just says bounce something you control. Okay, so yeah, so we get it on Snowhound. So Ice Age, again, if I've got the order right, it's the first time we see it. We then get it on these. Are these part of a cycle, maybe? Don't appear to be. It's just when I see sort of two colour things like that, sometimes it's, you know, is it like a... No, I don't think they were doing draft indicators at that point in Magic, but, you know, sometimes they do these sort of two colour, you know, either, you know, single cycle or double cycle stuff. Yeah. Oh. Here we are. Here we are in the block. So, yeah. Bit of bounce. Yeah, so a lot of clever bounce stuff going on here in this particular block. So if we were to look at other things, so I don't know, do we ever see it on lands? Yep, we get 8 lands with it on. This looks like a cycle. But you're just about there. Return a non-layer land you control to its owner's hand. So it's sort of tied up with the cost. I mean, instants that are classified as rescue. Oh, there's deprive, narrow escape, word of undoing. There's a charm there with it on, and gush, yeah, days, okay. So, and there's actually a card called rescue. So, would we expect to see much at sorcery speed? Yeah, no, it's definitely a more of an advantage, I think, for a instant speed thing. But there we go. It's interesting artwork. Yeah, it'd be cool if we see that actually in all its glory. That's pretty cool. I like that as well. Actually, all of these are pretty interesting. Awesome. Okay. So do creatures, instant sorceries. I think I can just do partial. There we go. I'm trying to be clever and I hit the wrong key. 11 enchantments. Nice. Wow. That's 9th edition. Which we'll be looking at a couple of Friday episodes hence. And then didn't do one thing I forgot to. It's too late now. I'm not going to go back to do it again, but I should have really done is first printing. Would have been a better way to do this, I suppose. Oh, Colney Gem. And of course the border posts. Yeah, I remember those. Cool artwork. Okay, Sakura-Tribe Elder. Well, we looked at that in the last episode. But yeah, again, that's why Marta came up. So yeah, it was classified as a Marta. Yeah, rampant growth on a body. Yeah, so a number of things we've already looked at. Cranial Extraction. Tongue sticking out, it's funny. Necromentia. Okay. Weaker in singleton formats. Okay, okay, maybe we haven't looked at this card in any detail. Maybe it just came up. Memoricide. I don't remember these. Because it would have been in the context of last week. Let's go down these. So we've got Memoricide, which is similar to Necromentia. Lobotomy. Cards which exile all cards of a particular name from a player's hand, library and or graveyard. So you got 34 of these in Magic. Oh, yeah, definitely looked at Lobotomy before, so quickly see, yeah, namesake card, first card, so yeah, surgical extraction. And that set was Tempest. And the other thing, weaker in singleton formats. Now, of course, I don't know what you can read into that, you know, whether you can say, well, if it's weaker in singleton formats, does that mean it's stronger or really strong in multiplayer formats? Just means it's weaker in singleton formats. So, yeah, but some of these may, as a consequence, be considerably strong in multiplayer. So, definitely, yeah, something that's worth poking around in if you like multiplayer. That's the tension sphere. Notice, yeah, the cycle of. Is that the whole cycle? I think it might be, if indeed it was a cycle. Yeah, Grandeur Legends, never been reprinted. Oh, yeah, there we go. Huh. Yeah, weaker in singleton formats. So did I get round? I probably said that round the wrong way. So yeah, weaker in singleton formats. So not cards you would want in multiplayer. Yep. Yeah. I confuse myself a lot. Yeah. It's here. Don't play these in multiplayer formats. Ethereal Haze. Prevent all damage that will be dealt by creatures this turn. I'm assuming he's going to say, yeah, fog. So damage prevention symmetrical. Similar to fourth end. One of the white, prevent all damage that will be dealt to creatures this turn. Gifts Ungiven. Banned in Commander. Yep. What is this? Say fact or fiction. Opponent chooses, tutor to graveyard, name matters, tutor card, tutor to hand. It's a mirror of Realms Uncharted. So that's 4 land cards. And if we look at fact or fiction, yeah, pile dilemma based card advantage. And we must have, yeah, we've looked at this before. It's come up before. Yeah, pretty powerful. But to refresh our memory. So Phyrexian Portal, Intuition, then Fact or Fiction, Gifts Ungiven, Truth or Tale, Covenant of Minds, Brilliant Ultimatum it's on, Realms Uncharted, Sphinx of Uthen, Jace Architect of Thought, Steam Augury, Epiphany at the Drown Yard, Fortune's Favour, Manifold Insights, Anesh, Cryosphinx Sovereign, Atris Oracle of Hearth Truths, cool. Sphinx of Clear Skies, Threats Undetected, Hostile Negotiations, Sauron's Ransom, The Celestial Toymaker, and Intrude on the Mind from Murders at Karloff Manor, which I imagine by the time this video, so when I'm recording this, we're not quite at the pre-release yet, but by the time you see this video, I think, yeah, either it will be released or close to release. So, and the pre-release would have happened. Hideous Laughter. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. Sweeper Creature Toughness, Synergy Arcane, Symmetrical. Sweeper Creature Toughness must have been something, yeah, we've looked at before. Interesting, I was curious about legendaries. I mean, 112 cards, so yeah, on and off through Magic, you can see it's been a thing for quite a while. Some of them, you know, will scale. This is an interesting commander. If you just want like mono black commander. Also, I always tend to associate these with pretty disturbing artwork. Interestingly, there's the Crovax in white. That was done for Plane of Chaos. Then you've got things like Fester Creep. Shrivel. And also some pretty strong stuff where it's just there in addition to other things. So Elish, Masker Worm. Those are those Heroes Path cards if you're curious. I have spoken about those in the past. Oh, it's on the, yeah, Silumgar. I remember this language. -4/-4. And yeah, Toxic Deluge. Now, what was the other one that was? Maybe thinking of is a different type of spell. I was thinking of another -4/-4. The context must be different, I suppose, than what I'm thinking of. Yeah, so point is, yeah, it turns up on a lot of cards, different contexts, different types of spells. Obviously you can see when it's like stapled to a creature and it's in effect permanently. It's pretty pretty strong. Horobi's Whisper. If you control a swamp, destroy target non-black creature. Yeah, so interesting conditional removal spell there. Was pre-printed if you saw there in Modern Masters. A cycle of these Splice Arcane cards. You can see what couple have been reprinted for that particular set that I mentioned, Modern Masters. Graveyard Fuel. No, it's a namesake spell. Thus spake the namesake spell. Removal creature destroy. Graveyard Fuel. Have we done that before? Yep. Okay. Kodama's Reach. Well, I think we know what this is going to be tagged up as. Not only a namesake spell, but ramp, tutor land basic. It's similar to Cultivate. It's better than Gaia's Bounty. Yep, tutor land to battlefield. So these are all things that we have drilled down through before. Nice artwork. Sensei's, well, we looked at this last week because it was in the theme deck, so I don't think much has probably changed since last week. Draw, Tuck Self, Soothsaying, which we looked at. Yep. Sickening Shoal. Well, that's pretty disturbing artwork. And yeah, good possibility I might. Is that a rare? So I don't know whether I've got the artwork for that or not. We'll soon find out. Okay, pitch spells, Synergy Black, remove. Let's look at the cycle. Okay, the other ones have been reprinted a few times. Let's just do this. Look at the original stuff and order it by colour, I suppose. Okay, Shining Shoal, Disrupting Shoal, Sickening Shoal, Blazing Shoal, and Nourishing Shoal, all at rare. And $6 for the white one, $1 for the blue, $5 for that one. Blazing Shoals. Okay, interesting. So that's banned in Modern. Okay, what would make it so egregious? Let's see. You may remove a red card with converted mana cost X in your hand from the game rather than pay Blazing Shoal's mana cost. Target creature gets +X +0 until end of turn. So I don't really play. Well, yeah, I don't play Modern at all. And I think I've said I have one Modern deck, and that's one, that Precon, which I should dig out and take a flip through it, just see what it was. So yeah, any Modern players out there, can you explain to me and fellow viewers of the channel who may be not too familiar with this card in the context of Modern, is this banned because it stops some sort of egregious combo, or it's yeah, a main card in some deck, something like that? So yeah, I'll be curious. Yeah. Anything else banned here? I don't think so. Right, moving on. Soulless Revival. I think we've seen this before. Yeah, regrowth creature, synergy arcane. I mean, yeah. Usual. Okay, usual. Why is that not coming up with anything? Maybe I haven't looked at regrowth creature then before. I find that hard to believe. So Undertaker, didn't that get reprinted in there? Oh, there's Recover and Lord of the Undead. Yeah, I had a feeling that had been reprinted in 10th. These charms always interest me. You know, the namesake ones from Plane Shift. I suppose the first time I must have seen them was in this deck, maybe. It's Phyrexia versus the Coalition. Cool. Oh yeah, there's Misery Charm from Onslaught. Oh, and the Sword of Light and Shadow. Was that the first? I'm curious actually, what was the first sword? So, it's the best way to do this. So, it's going to have to be the first sword of, isn't it? Because there's a whole lot. I mean, there's going to be other swords, and maybe we'll look at those. But, sword of. Is that, yeah, okay. Sword of. I'll try that first of all. I know this is not strictly speaking, but you know, name that way. But I could filter that out. But I'm going to leave it in for the moment because I'm going to do this. What did I do there? That's better. Okay, yeah. So I wondered about this one. Yeah, Sword of the Chosen. So. To get these, so I'm thinking probably more specifically the swords of something and something. But if you go back, you've got Sword of the Ages, Sword of the Chosen, Sword of Caldria, which is part of I think a wider set, isn't it? You've got all these sort of Caldria ones. Sword of Fire and Ice, Sword of Light and Shadow, Sword of the Parans, Meek, Vengeance. And then we get these, Body and Mind, Feast and Famine, War and Peace, another Sword of something, in this case Animist, and then Sinew and Steel, Justice and Truth. What else? Forge and Frontier, Hearth and Home, and then Once and Future. So I'm assuming if I was to simply do this, we'd get those, yep. And I bet some of these are pretty pricey. Yeah, 42, 19, 13, yeah. No cheap ofs and and swords. A sword of Boolean logic. Oh, that would be a good idea, wouldn't it? Swords of Boolean logic. Stir the Grave. Betrayers, return target creature card with converting mana cost X or less from your graveyard to play. So, scales on mana. So, nice sort of reanimate creature. Well, basically, yeah, you're casting that creature for its mana cost +1. And yeah, we've looked at reanimate creatures on, I suspect, yes, numerous occasions. But in terms of, sorcery speed stuff, which that is, I think. Oh yeah, All Hallows Eve. Yeah, that was the card, I think. That was the only card when I was trying to build the Magic the Gathering online deck of that was to me that the original precon before they released the Commander product, but it was online. So the original Commander precons or EDA. I mean, I don't think it was even, maybe it was called Commander back then. So pre 2011. I built one of the decks in paper, and that was the only card that I had to proxy. For obvious reasons. I don't know how much it was back then. It might have only been $100, funnily enough. Well, only, he says. Yeah. You can see lots of classic cards here, like Reanimate, Exhume, Unearth, Yawgmoth's Will. There's our Stir the Grave. Yeah, Dread Return, Living End, Profane Commands, Rise from the Grave. Anybody that plays Reanimate probably recognise a lot of these. Unburial Rites. There's this card, Rise of the Dark Realms. I think when I was putting together that, there was a Graveyard Matters deck I was putting together, and I think, did it cross my mind to maybe use this in place of something? Yeah, All Hallows Eve probably, yeah. I think so, something like that. I think I've got it right. I think it's that deck. I built two decks basically with a graveyard theme. One of them, like I said, was that deck, and another one was where I'd taken, I think, a theme deck and done an early episode of Commander Fodder in paper. So one of the two, but I'm pretty sure it was the Magic the Gathering online deck that had it in. So I've trouble with precons, isn't it, and building deck from event stuff. Over time, everything just gets a bit blurry. And if you're anything like me, I tend to sort of misremember. Okay, Wear Away. Oh, yeah. Naturalize, rears its head again. So now we're getting into sideboard territory. There's our cycle of dragons, which we saw earlier. Yep. Oh, come on. Yeah, we did. There we go. I just wanted to check the artwork there. Oh, because, yeah, that's right, they've all been reprinted. Theft of Creature, Evasion, Kasimi the Lone Wolf. Okay. 5/3, 4 blue, white. So it's better than that. That's funny. And better than Jedit Janan. Is someone having a laugh here? It must be. That's funny. Kodama of the North Tree. Okay. Evasion, French vanilla, because it's you know, these are keyworded here. I'm assuming then this, as it is in, yeah, because it's been errated to Shroud. Okay, so on the original card, it didn't say Shroud, but now in the rules text, whatever you want to call it, it has been. So yeah, trample is a form of evasion, because you can, if you trample over, some of the damage gets through. Oh, there's Myojin, however you say that. Cycle. Oh, yeah, okay. Cycle of these then. Yep. Not reprinted. Divinity counter. So, where did they go with divinity? Did they go anywhere? Looks like they did do divinity counters again, maybe. A couple of times. What do you know? Okay, so after, yeah, that which was taken. So that was actually in Betrayers. Okay. And then this, where's this from? Lost Count, okay, comes of Ixalan Commander. It's divinity counters. So not something you see a lot of in Magic. Divinity counters. Gains indestructible, discard, yeah. Something we've probably seen before. And finally, we have a Nezumi Graverobber. Wasn't a Magic Online theme deck. Flip it the other way. Right. Let's see what we've got. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the uncommon flip cycle. Looking at this, this is the only one that's been reprinted. Other interesting thing that what they did, you can see they moved the set symbol. So on these it was placed down the bottom originally. For the reprint they put it here. Reanimate from any. Okay, so it doesn't seem to come up as though I've, and as you know, I deliberately don't flush the cache on this particular browser, or not very often, so it's quite handy. It sort of gives me an indicator of where I might have burbled on about something before. Okay, yep, so it's got all things like Animate Dead and Necromancy, Call from the Grave, okay. But additionally, it is from any. Did I put that in the right order? Have I messed up again? No, release date ascending. Where are we? We're here. So is it the case that most of the instances of that are after? Yeah, later on in Magic. Okay. Opponent's graveyard from the game. In a graveyard. So if I do... See, what I'm curious about is if I do... a graveyard, does that get any more specific? Because is it including stuff in here as well that could be from an opponent's, could be off our graveyard? Yep, so that's a little bit specific. So yeah, anything from a graveyard. Oh, there's any. Did they errata that to, yeah, from to a graveyard? They did. Good. Okay, there's Dance of the Dead. Oh, Coffin Queen, of course, yeah. Gravespawn Sovereign. There's Teneb and Rise from the Grave from M10. Yeah, Grim Return from M14. Restore from Commander. Did I? I did put in the, yeah, first printing. Why do I think Restore was around a lot earlier? Interesting. Grave Upheaval. Dance Macabre. Oh yeah, Cruelty of Gix. Neon Dynasty. Yeah, these are always interesting. These ones that grab stuff from, yeah, any graveyard. Always worth a look. Speaking of unrest, so do we have any here that are, did I get that right? Just make sure, yeah. So, Portal to Phyrexia. Yeah. Is that the only one that could go in any deck? Must be. There's no, yeah. There's no other way. Let's just scan through that quickly. Yeah, I'm always curious, like, is there anything here? Yeah, there's some of these artifacts or colourless cards which pretty high casting cost, but you know, the advantage is that they can be popped into any commander deck. What's the other one? Is it Spine of Ishan? That sort of removal one. Yeah, but that's interesting from the point of view of, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a target creature card from graveyard into the battlefield under your control. It's a Phyrexian in addition to other types. Surprise, surprise. Okay, there we have it. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed that episode. That was really interesting looking through those. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now, and I will catch you in a future episode.